Hey guys, it's Dr. Sam Robbins, and today I'm going to reveal the real cause of prostate enlargement. I'll also give you solutions and so forth. Now, I've done many videos about the prostate because prostate cancer is the number one cancer in men, and prostate cancer also has affected a couple of my own uncles. So there's a history with that. Now, what's interesting is that boys who have had their testicles removed before puberty, for whatever reason it might be, right, never have prostate problems ever. And they also never go bald. And I'll get to the details about this in a couple minutes and why and solutions and so forth. However, for the rest of us who still have our testicles, most men over the age of 40 are affected by prostate growth. And by the age of like 75, over like 90% of us have for sure prostate problems that's problematic and is negatively affecting your health and your lives and sexual lives and so forth, which is something my dad had to deal with for decades. In fact, I remember him always complaining about having to go to the bathroom so many times a day, and he'd basically like push and to make the pee come out, but not much would. And then he'd leave the bathroom, and then a few minutes later he'd have to go back and do this all over again. And later in life, his sleep was always bad because all the frequent pee breaks in the middle of the night, just basically standing over the toilet, he would say, like for 5 or 10 minutes, just trying to squeeze out a few drops. Now, of course, later on, he took medications, which helped a little bit, but then also caused other problems, such as depression or erectile problems. Now, luckily, unlike his brother, my uncle, my dad never got prostate cancer, but his brother did. And however, my dad did live in torture and pain for many years, especially those last maybe 10 or 15 years, which is why I make so many prostate videos to help educate men about the causes and solutions and to remove all the myths and inaccuracies. Now, as I've stated, prostate problems not only cause daily and ongoing issues with urination and discomfort, but can also cause erectile problems as well. Basically, your orgasms are also not as strong or pleasurable like they used to. Now, in fact, the prostate is actually an organ that can be pleasured, similarly to a G-spot in women. Basically, the two are often compared to each other, the prostate and the G-spot in women, just as a clitoris in women is similar to a penis in men when it comes to pleasure. So as you can see, the prostate is very important to men, as well as your relationships with your partner. And today I'm going to reveal the primary causes of prostate growth and also give you natural solutions to help reduce the growth of your prostate, also to shrink the prostate, and also help reduce the risk of prostate cancer in the future. All right, so I'll be honest with you. One thing I really hate about life as I've gotten older and over the past age of 50 is how my body feels and looks due to aging. And most will agree with this, right? And then they think, hey, yeah, I hate aging. They think more about muscle loss and fat gain and then wrinkles and, gray hair and hair loss and joint pain and so forth. However, aging is a primary cause of many problems, but more specifically, the prostate gland growing and becoming enlarged. Aging is a big cause of it. And this is why almost all men have prostate problems as they get older. And in fact, this is called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, as maybe you've heard about it. Now, the benign means that it's a growth and it's not cancerous. So that's good. The prostatic part is having to do with the prostate gland, and hyperplasia is defined as an enlargement of an organ. So how do you know if you have BPH, right? How do you know if you have prostate enlargement? You're at home, you're not going to the doctor, you're not doing a blood test, you're not getting the rectal exam. Well, I give you a list, but basically it's your ability to urinate isn't as good as it used to be, and neither is sex. For example, you go pee, right? And you get done, yet it doesn't feel like you emptied out, right? There's still some left in there for some reason. Or your erections aren't as hard as they used to be. Or after you get done peeing, there's maybe a slow dribble of urine is still coming out for some reason, gets in the underwear and so forth. Or the stream or flow is weaker than it used to be and just not like a strong fire hose like when you were younger. And your orgasms aren't as strong or as satisfying as they used to be. You have to strain and push to make the urine come out. And it's just not easy, and it's like a lot of work. Urinating can actually be painful at times, and there might even be a little bit of blood in the urine. And the most common problem that guys mention is having to pee multiple times in the middle of the night, more than, when you were younger and you had a healthy prostate. All right, so let's come full circle to the real cause of prostate growth. Yes, aging is a common factor that I've already mentioned. However, the real cause is the imbalance in hormones and enzymes that ultimately causes the prostate to grow and can potentially lead to prostate cancer. Now, remember how earlier I said that boys who have had their testicles removed before puberty, they never get prostate problems and they also never go bald? Well, a primary hormone that's linked to this is actually a reduced form of testosterone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. You may have heard about it. Now, testosterone is a primary hormone in most all animals, male and female, and it can convert to two other main hormones: estrogen, or specifically estradiol, which happens through the aromatase enzyme. And the second hormone, again, is DHT, or dihydrotestosterone, through the 5-alpha reductase enzyme. And I mention these enzymes because I'll come full circle about these in a minute. Now, both of these hormones affect the prostate gland negatively. That's right, estrogen isn't good for the prostate. You see, first of all, DHT is much more androgenic than testosterone. Basically, it has more of those negative male side effects, such as prostate growth. And DHT binds much harder to the skin and the prostate receptors, and thus causes hair loss and body hair growth and the enlargement of the prostate. Now, how does estrogen work in all this? Basically, estrogen magnifies and increases the receptor sensitivity to DHT, basically making DHT much stronger than it already was. Ironically, most people, doctors, and experts incorrectly think that testosterone is the problem because by killing off testosterone, the prostate does shrink a little bit in some clinical studies, but they are wrong. You see, the main reason the prostate shrinks with quote unquote no testosterone is because the testosterone can no longer convert to estrogen and DHT, the two main hormones that I just mentioned. What's even more interesting is that as the testosterone converts to DHT and estrogen, these two hormones rise with age, and that powerful good testosterone just keeps dropping with age. So the DHT and estrogen go up, and then the testosterone keeps coming down lower and lower. And then you end up having more hair and prostate problems, which, by the way, both are also linked to inflammation. And I'll come back to inflammation in a little bit. The other problems associated with hormonal imbalances: lowered libido and more sexual and erectile problems. Also, muscle and strength loss. You also have more belly fat. You're more moody and less driven, less energetic. You also start to grow man boobs, or have more gynecomastia. Thus, all of this is about hormonal imbalance, which also then causes inflammation, which affects all of us as we age. Inflammation goes higher and higher as we age. The fact is that testosterone is your friend, not your enemy. Listen. Remember when you were younger and had all your hair, right? You had good prostate, everything was great, your erections were awesome and so forth. You had higher testosterone back then, but you also had lower estrogen and DHT. The balance was better and it was more in favor of testosterone. But as you got older, the opposite happened. The testosterone dropped because there was more of it converting to DHT and estrogen. Now you know the primary causes of prostate problems. More importantly, of aging. Now, you've heard about menopause for women, menopause. This is basically andropause in men. In fact, increasing testosterone levels in men does not negatively affect the prostate as long as you keep the testosterone elevated and high, but then you make sure you manage the DHT and estrogen levels, those two negative hormones. And that's the key. You basically want normal levels of everything, but you want high testosterone, but lower DHT and estrogen levels. And this all has to happen naturally from within, all right? Listen, this doesn't work if you start taking testosterone injections, all right, like TRT, because then you got to add in aromatase and 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, right? Remember to not convert to the extra estrogen and DHT, which will then result in even more problems and impotency issues. It's like a negative spiral effect. So, how do you improve your hormonal imbalances? And how do you reduce inflammation and thus, fix all the problems that I mentioned today? Well, again, I've done lots of videos about this topic, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I'll give you some resources and videos at the end of this video. However, something I've done for myself and my dad and all this stuff, something that can easily promote healthy and youthful hormonal balance and lowered inflammation, is by taking 2 supplements that I've been using for 20 years. Again, my dad, my brothers, we all take it, and it's helped. And the sooner you start, the better the effects, and that's the key. The first is AlphaViril, which I think you've heard about it by now. It helps optimize all your hormones that I mentioned today. The second is Inflame and pain relief, which helps reduce inflammation. The 2 combined are very effective for healthy prostate function, which is about the topic of today's video. And I put links to both of these supplements, important ones, in the description below, including discount coupons. So please take a look right now. And also, please leave your comments and questions below, because I really want to help about prostate problems in future videos. This is all for you. I already know about this stuff. This is for me to help you and your family and your brothers and dads and uncles and all that stuff. So again, if you're not subscribed, please do so right now. Make sure you take a look at the information in below the description area. If you haven't already, wishing you a very happy and healthy day.